Once again, thank you for taking the time to join us for today's presentation about Apprenti and what apprenticeships mean for the tech industry and for career opportunities in Kansas. My name is Ryan Weber. I'm President and CEO of the KC Tech Council. We're excited to have you join us today as we expand Apprenti throughout the state of Kansas. You know, it's a couple years ago, almost right before the pandemic began, or even right when it was unfolding, it was clear that there was going to be an impact to some jobs, but maybe not as much in the tech industry as other industries. But prior to the pandemic, KC's tech industry, like every city in America, was suffering from a lack of skilled workers. And so that's what really gave us the motivation to invest in this program. And that investment also comes with a multi-year partnership with Apprenti, which you'll hear more about here soon. There were several reasons why we selected Apprenti as our partner for this program. Number one, because they've got a proven track record of successfully placing apprentices at small, medium, and large size tech companies. And that's exactly who our organization works with. The KC Tech Council is the regional advocate for Kansas City's tech industry. We're an industry association. And if we can help solve a problem for our members and for the community in which we live, that, folks, of course, is a win-win. And most importantly, our companies were letting us know that not only do they need more skilled workers, but they also needed to increase the diversity of that workforce. And that was another reason why we selected Apprenti as our partner. Not only have they successfully placed apprentices, also successful in reaching into underrepresented communities to engage them in workforce opportunities in the tech industry. So here we are, a little over a couple of years later, a little under a couple of years, I should say. And now I'm excited to announce that we will be expanding this program throughout the state of Kansas. Something that hits near and dear to me. I was born in Salina, Kansas, grew up in the Kansas City area, but went to school at Kansas State. And even in the small family town of Gypsum, Kansas, I can tell you that the need for skills in the workforce of any industry is a huge opportunity for everybody. So now it is my pleasure to introduce our program manager, Aaron Christensen, who's the leader of our Apprenti program. And Aaron, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ryan. This sounds very cliche, but it truly feels like we were just in the same spot around a year ago this time, launching this in Kansas City. And it's remarkable the amount of progress that we've made in the last year, and that we're in a position to expand this effort throughout the state of Kansas. We are incredibly grateful to the partnership that we've created with the state of Kansas and really gaining their trust in allowing us to implement this throughout the state, to work with a variety of communities and employers to help build a robust talent pipeline. Kansas continues to be a growing market for technology, with over 1,000 tech employers and over 37,000 tech professionals. The state is in a perfect position to identify new sources of talent. And in order for the state to keep a competitive advantage, identifying qualified tech talent becomes increasingly more important. As Ryan mentioned, we all know that the two biggest challenges within the tech industry are a lack of talent, but also a lack of diversity. Apprenti helps create solutions to these problems. With over 70% of our apprentices being women, veterans, and/or people of color, Apprenti has a proven model for diversifying tech talent throughout the country. Today, you will hear from a variety of presenters, locally and nationally. First, you will hear from past apprentices in other markets about how transformative their experiences were. Because we are just a year into really being able to launch this program in Kansas City, our apprentices are still going through their on-the-job training portion of their apprenticeship, and we're excited to share their individual experiences later this year once they complete their apprenticeships. Following this, Jennifer Carlson, co-founder and executive director of Apprenti, will share how companies can fill talent gaps through a dynamic apprenticeship program. You will also hear from Governor Kelly, who is excited to share her enthusiasm and support for the apprenticeship program through Apprenti. We're also looking forward to having Bar Advisory share their experience with Apprenti thus far. Bar was the first adopter of Apprenti in Kansas City and has had strong success with the program as they continue to expand their team. Lastly, we will wrap up with answering any questions that you might have. We do have some team members on standby, able to address questions in the Q&A feature if you would like to ask them there throughout the presentation. But I am now eager to kick off the program with some remarks from former apprentices.
The moment I got the call that I got the apprenticeship, I kind of got choked up because it meant so much to me. It's something I needed in my life at that point, working at a moving company for 5-6 years. And it's like, what am I going to do? Apprenti has given me the outlet. What I can achieve is endless at this point.
Before I found out about the Apprenti program, my impression of the tech industry was that I was going to be going to school for a very long time. It was a closed door for me.
I honestly felt like my gender and my age were going to be kind of a barrier.
Growing up, I didn't think I stood a chance to join any tech company. Apprenti kind of taught me that that's not the case.
Well, I'm an immigrant from when I was younger. My job right now is I'm a software developer at Microsoft. After I got my job offer, I honestly cried in the bathroom for a little bit and told my entire family back in the Philippines and in Hong Kong. They weren't able to help me get to where I am now. And so they had always been kind of like watching me, and there was this feeling of helplessness. But when they saw that I got the job offer, they were so happy.
So my name is Tyler. I'm a family man. Before Apprenti, I had worked a myriad of jobs. I was in the United States military. The military definitely instills this great tool set that you can apply to any career, any job, especially having a family and everything else. Having that insecurity of no job is extremely stressful. So the moment that I found out I did have a job was just incredible.
The most exciting part of my apprenticeship has been being immersed in a field that is continuously growing. I think if it wasn't for the Apprenti program, I wouldn't be at Microsoft. I wouldn't have even tried for Microsoft, to be perfectly honest.
The Apprenti program did everything for me. You know, it opened up the door. It just had started everything. It's a career. It's a life, you know. I finally have that. I didn't have that before. It was nice.
Every time I build upon my, the skills that I had, I just feel more powerful, and able to accomplish more. I'll go and talk with my friends and they're like, can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm just like I don't think you understand like what tools I'm gaining and what I can do with them. Like everything you see on the web and stuff like that, like I'll be able to build it, and it's like, not everybody can do that. And it's awesome. It's a great feeling. Yeah.
Avo's experience with the Apprenti program has been phenomenal. We've converted every single Apprenti that we've had to date. They are hardworking. They all bring unique background, other career experiences. They're dynamite professionals on the job. They're some of my best developers. I am tremendously happy with how this program has gone.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our first presenter to share more about Apprenti. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer Carlson, co-founder and executive director of WTIA Workforce Institute and Apprenti. Jennifer, take it away.
Well, good morning, Erin. Thank you so much. I always get choked up when I watch my peeps on the screen. I love seeing all their stories, and it's very heartfelt. So that's a good way to start the day. Thank you. If you would bring up the slides, that would be great. I'd like to start the conversation by just saying to both Aaron and Ryan how wonderful our experience has been with the KC Tech Council, and we're really excited about the opportunity to expand across the entire state. I grew up in Overland Park, so this has kind of been a fun project for us and a near and dear one as we've expanded into new markets. I was really excited when I got that phone call from Ryan, and he was like, I think we're ready. And he was right, because Kansas is really primed for this. As the market continues to expand, there are, I think last year we had 900,000 jobs across the US that went unfilled in tech jobs. And what started in Washington as a pilot project and expanded nationally is serving an issue that exists everywhere. We kind of got a two-pronged issue in that not only can we not produce enough employees or talent for our needs, but we also have a diversity challenge. And as Aaron pointed out, our focus is on attracting, training, reskilling people from underrepresented communities, but people who are work transitional, people who are looking for different opportunities in their lives. And this creates it. It's traditional apprenticeship in the sense that it is a combination of on-the-job reskilling mixed with classroom. So there's no college degree required. It's an 18 and over program. And while the US graduates 75,000 people annually in computer science, and out of 85,000 H-1B visas issued by the US, we still have a significant shortage or shortfall in that talent. And there's a finite element to poaching. We're not creating anything net new. So apprenticeship should be the third leg on that talent stool. Aaron? We not only create the alternative pathways, but it's kind of this entire comprehensive system that starts with getting at the skill sets that people bring to the table that are portable to our industry if we look outside of the system that they got those skill sets in. And then getting them that classroom training in an accelerated fashion means that we can produce tech talent in a 12 to 20 week window, depending on the role. And then those underrepresented groups are placed into an apprenticeship in the traditional sense. They have a mentor on the job. It's a minimum of 2,000 hours. And they get the skills needed for companies to train to retain. That is the critical phrase here. It's an opportunity for us to give them time to grow into the role. Aaron? Thank you. So the role that Apprenti fills and that the KC Tech Council Apprenti Kansas is going to do is work on behalf of the employers to source our diverse talent, those folks who are in our own backyard that can be doing this work. We assess them on a combination of skills that are math and logic and critical thinking related. So are they good problem solvers? And not can they write a line of code yet, because they haven't done that. Because this is about opening the door to opportunity. There's a screening process where we're getting at those skill sets. One of my favorite examples that I like to give here is a Burger King manager who applied to one of our employers. If he tried to do that just to get into a tech role, I think that not only would it not make it past a digital screening process, but they would wonder why he applied. But when we do that interview and we're getting at the skill sets that are portable to an employer, we're getting at the fact that he's done supply chain management, he's done employee hiring and retention, he manages payroll and benefits, and all of those things are skills that are portable to any industry. And when we position it in that frame to the employer, it gives them a different sense of who these people are. How they got those skills is really less relevant. So that means that we can curate great populations of cohorts that we can send to an employer to interview on a soft skills basis. And we present a ratio of 2 to 1 to the employer. And then you and the employer get to do the interview on that soft skills basis and decide who you're willing to sponsor into apprenticeship. Nobody coming through this system is going into a training environment that doesn't already have a committed employer sitting at kind of the under end of this, waiting to take them for a start date that is after their training. And that offer of employment is contingent on their completing the classroom training satisfactorily. So they then spend a year in that environment with the employer after they've completed that 40-hour-a-week training for the requisite number of weeks. So that journey for the apprentice looks a little different. Obviously, they're going to do that interview, but then they kind of have to really show resilience in that classroom technical training. The shortest window is that 6 weeks for like project management, and cyber can be as long as 6 months. They earn a training wage with you on the job. So that's an opportunity for the employer to pay them that training wage as a earn and learn environment. While you're skilling them up in the role, they earn about 30% less, 35% less than the wage of a fully qualified person you would have brought in. And then they have that mentor that they're working with and have significant benchmarks on the job that they have to hit to know that they're going to be retained at the end of the process. Erin, thank you. For employers, there's a great return on investment, or in this case, the return on the individual. Not only is there a savings on the salary that they would pay the person, there isn't really a recruitment cost per se, because this system is kind of turnkey. We bring those people to the table, and the management process is really what you're paying for in what the Tech Council is receiving as a benefit from the employer. The retention rate is very strong. Not only are we passing 95% of them on to job, it's a significant retention level because you're building the talent in your own environment the way you want to mold them. And this is, again, an 18 and over program, but the median age in this is 32. So these are people who are career transitional, their lives have changed. Some have gone to college or have some college under their belt, but maybe didn't have the right pathway and have spent the last 10 years of their life doing other things, mostly underemployed, though 26% or so of them coming into the program were unemployed. And then 85% are coming from those underrepresented groups. So, sorry, 28%. Thank you for the correction, Erin. These are some national numbers. So wages, of course, vary, but the wage coming into the program is usually less than 30 to 35,000. So if we think of a living wage or a minimum wage, it's somewhere in that area. What they're earning in apprenticeship is not only that salary of a training wage and getting experience with benefits, but the retained wage is usually at least double what they were earning before they came into the program. The end of this system delivers a certificate or a credential. So many times they're earning a credential on the job in addition to the certificate of completion of apprenticeship, which is verifiable. And the cost of acquisition or the cost benefit for something like a software developer, which is 40% of our placements, you can see that cost of an individual coming into the program fully loaded, $65,000 through apprenticeship. And if you're, as an employer, looking at your traditional recruitment process and sending people out to campus and trying to get folks in the door, your higher education version of that is probably in the mid-90s. If you're poaching, not only do you have the high salary of bringing somebody in with those years of experience, but creating a void somewhere else, you're probably also paying for things like relocation, although in a digital world that may not be as much as it had been, and recruitment costs. So, and there's probably other incentives like signing bonuses, stock, and other things related to H-1Bs if they continue to need to be sponsored. So apprenticeship creates kind of that entry-level role, but is creating net new talent. It can also work for reskilling talent and creating opportunities for existing staff, perhaps in non-traditional or non-tech roles, to move in. You already have those folks on team and you know what they can do for you. And this is an opportunity to reinvest in them and skill them into a higher level. So at the end of the process, currently, these are the roles that are filed and approved for registered apprenticeship in the country for tech. And this covers the highest density of core tech roles that are available out there, those 900,000 that went unfilled last year. And underneath those titles, you can see the typical or the most frequently requested training. Erin will be the person who respond to you with any questions and can share this information with you after we're done today so that you have it for reference. But the roles that you see here have competency systems built behind them, and they were defined by the industry. So this is an industry-led system that allows us to create new talent that is portable. The role of a software developer or a network security administrator in high finance looks the same as it does for a software development company or a healthcare company. So those core competencies and those baseline skills really have to be there. And once they've got that hands-on experience through the end of their apprenticeship, means if they're moving jobs, they should be consumable by virtually every other industry. So that creation of net new talent is what we're driving towards. And as I started with, is ultimately the third leg on the talent development stool. And it's really time for us as an industry to start investing in creating new talent and not just consuming it. And with that, I would like to thank again Ryan and Aaron for all the work that they've done to both expand the program in Kansas and all the support that we've received from the governor's office and our partners in the state to help enable this program. This is really transformational, as you heard from some of the apprentices, and it's an opportunity for us to kind of reshape the landscape at home. And for that, I am very thankful. And Aaron, I turn it back to you and look forward to hearing from our other speakers.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jennifer. We really appreciate you being here today and sharing, the comprehensive overview of what Apprenti is. And there are so many things that you said that are so relatable here, obviously, in Kansas City. And I will say it truly is, as you said, an industry-led program. I always say that it's very employer-driven in Kansas City. And we have no two conversations I have with employers look the same. We want to make sure that this works for each individual company that we are working with. The timeline, the training that's being provided, the roles that are being filled, we want to make sure that it works for you. So with that, we are delighted to have the support of Governor Kelly for this program. And while she was not available to attend live, she was kind enough to record some remarks about how impactful Apprenti will be for the economic development of the state of Kansas.
Hello, I'm Governor Laura Kelly. The tech industry continues to grow in Kansas, and that means we need to keep up by building a highly skilled workforce. In 2021, there were more than 28,000 IT job postings in Kansas, which highlights why we must embrace this effort. To keep our state competitive, my administration continues to find ways to diversify and grow the state's workforce. One way is by partnering with our business community to expand apprenticeship programs. Through the partnership with the Kansas Department of Commerce, the KC Tech Council plays a critical role in expanding tech apprenticeships with the Apprenti program. Apprenti provides a much-needed path for individuals who otherwise would not have the opportunity to enter the tech industry. The program has demonstrated success in helping individuals from historically underrepresented communities break into the tech industry, while being customizable for Kansas employees to meet their needs. Organizations must look for innovative ways to attract, train, and retain talent that complements existing pipelines. Apprenti fills that need. My administration is looking forward to advancing apprenticeship programs throughout the state and looks forward to this partnership with the KC Tech Council over the next several years. By being forward-thinking and addressing this need, Kansas can hold a competitive edge and continue to be attractive to the always expanding technology industry. Thank you.
So just within the last year, we were able to increase our candidate pool by over 150% within the Kansas City Metro. Through the partnership with the state of Kansas, we are looking forward to expanding that outreach to a variety of communities throughout the state. One of the most appealing aspects to Apprenti is that it is truly flexible across industries and size of companies. From organizations like the ones that were referenced on Jennifer's slides, Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan, Microsoft, ones that we're familiar with, and locally H&R Block, to quickly growing companies like Bar Advisory, who you'll hear from in a minute. The flexibility to make it work is unmatched. I am excited to now hand it over to Brad Thies, president of Bar Advisory, to share their commitment to the program a year ago and how it has been successful for them since.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you all for having me today. It's been such a great relationship that we've had over the past couple of years. And a quick a quick about us, as you can see on the slides, we've really built ourselves to exist to build trust and simplify the path to security and compliance for a more secure world. We do that through cybersecurity and compliance, both in the audit and the management of cybersecurity. And while the data breaches get the big headlines, we ultimately feel like it's about humans at its core. And so we very much take this human first approach. And what better way to really show that by making sure that we're casting a wider net when it comes to how we hire. And there's a lot of very traditional paths that we could have taken. And when we started to think a little bit deeper about this, it was a great partnership. It was a no-brainer really with Apprenti to really serve just a moral and business imperative to make sure that we're looking at just different, more diverse talent pools. And we're in the knowledge economy. And programs like Apprenti have helped us significantly formalize more of a continuous learning platform and create more of a path forward for casting that wider net and filling that skills gap, like I mentioned. And that's where we hear about the skills gap in the cybersecurity space. I just think we're not looking hard enough. And this is exactly why it couldn't have come at a better time, at least for us. And we're only about a 50-person company, and we've already hired two folks from the Apprenti program. And if you do the math, that's about 5% of our workforce already. And we're still looking to continue to hire through Apprenti. And so as we focus on diversity, inclusion, belonging, hiring people with these diverse backgrounds and perspectives, as I said, with the knowledge economy, it helps us get a little bit different perspectives and experiences. And it's extremely important to us. And just as a business leader, it's on us to really focus our awareness around these apprenticeship type programs. So we're thrilled to be involved in it. We're thrilled to be one of the first in Kansas City to do this. And we've had such great success with it. A couple roles that were being filled, mainly in our cybersecurity audit practice. And so they're very entry-level positions, but within the first few weeks of our first hire, we hired a formal math teacher. She was a U.S. Army Reserve member, and we were blown away by her perspective, her attention to detail. It was an immediate value add, and just within 3 months, she secured a full-time position. And so, I think there's varying ways that you can bring somebody on full-time. We said, okay, this is definitely a full-time position for her. So she was brought on within 3 months, and we just recently had our recognition awards last week as an all-hands company, and she won one of our core values is future ready, and she won our future ready core value award for really just embracing that continuous improvement, driving innovation. So this was an immediate impact for us, and we hope we can give back to her and then others in the community for just allowing those opportunities. So it's been unbelievable, and how we continue to plan to implement Apprenti. So we also just, like I said, we've had two, and so I just hired our second one recently, and really just continuing what the micro credentials is doing with through some of these Apprenti programs. I've been taking that on and blowing that up within our practice as well, to make sure we're having training programs both for folks that maybe have more of a background in the cybersecurity space versus those that don't. And so just creating those different paths and plans so that we can continue to upskill our people. And again, it's the knowledge economy, so these things are always changing. We have to be able to be flexible enough to always upskill our people. It's really our duty. And what I'll say is reach out to Erin for anybody that is looking more and wanting to partnership with this. Erin has been fantastic with this. She's extremely knowledgeable about not only what's going on in Kansas City, but about the national program and how we can really find that right matchmaking ability to figure out how we can match really our needs with what the candidates are coming through the pipeline. So I also recommend speaking with any of the Kansas City-based Apprenti employers. I'm happy to get on a phone call with anybody that's looking to gain a better understanding and how we've really started to put together our training development programs around this, including communication tools. We do a lot of mentoringship. We call them bar buddies and performance management type programs to make sure that it's not only hey, we hire some folks, but making sure that we're equipping them for success. So again, thank you to the Apprenti program. Thank you to KC Tech Council. Special shout out to Aaron for all your help with us as we continue partnering with you guys. It's been a fantastic relationship.
Well, thank you, Brad, and thank you for your leadership with BAR, and you guys have been a delight to work with. You make it very easy, and your enthusiasm with the program has been wonderful to see, and the success, obviously, with the program within BAR has been amazing. So we do appreciate it. So you've heard a lot of us talk about a partnership that we have with the state of Kansas, but really, what does that mean? This grant that we have recently received allows you as the employer, for the employers or companies that are on the call, it gives you the opportunity to take advantage of resources to get an apprenticeship program lifted within your organization. We know that sometimes, things that are new or different are a little bit challenging to envision, and how you can especially transform, your hiring practices. And that's what we're here to help you with. Either myself in combination with the team at Apprenti and under Jennifer's leadership are here to get this lifted within your organization. So to make it as seamless of a process as possible that complements your current hiring practices. This grant also means that we have the opportunity to support that required technical instruction for the apprenticeship that Jennifer mentioned. Each of the apprenticeship that are the occupational roles that we offer through apprenticeship have their own required technical instruction. That's the classroom training portion of the apprenticeship, and we front load that. And we have a variety of training partners that we work with both on a local level and on a national level that to make sure that it fits your needs. And so this grant gives us the opportunity to help subsidize some of the costs of that training. I know that there also might be employers and community organizations attending who aren't in Kansas. We are fortunate enough to be an organization that is on the state line and very supportive of both the work that's happening in Missouri and Kansas. And while this webinar is focused on, being able to expand throughout the state of Kansas, we are still dedicated to working with employers and organizations in Missouri. So feel free to reach out. We do have resources for our Missouri employers to help get this lifted as well. I challenge each of you as leaders within your organization to really think strategically about the impact a program like this can make within your individual company. We have identified the talent and support to help you implement this program. So don't hesitate to reach out to strategize a way to make this work for you. Again, no two conversations I have with employers look the same. We want to make sure that it works for what your individual needs are. And I truly believe that is what sets Apprenti apart from other programs, the flexibility of it. So as we wrap up this morning, I would encourage companies who are looking at innovative approaches to identify talent, consider Apprenti as a way to build out a more diverse talent pipeline. For those attending who are part of, I know we have some economic groups or economic development groups or different chambers that are representing various parts of the state. We will be sending a toolkit following this that was really created for the work that you do within your communities and the organizations that you work with who are members of your economic development groups and chambers. So keep an eye out for that. We want this to work for you. We want to be another tool in your toolbox that you provide your member organizations. Another thank you to our employer and training partners who are committed to developing talent. Jennifer, again, and the Apprenti team for bringing such wonderful strategy initially to Kansas City and for their teamwork as I work very collaboratively with them on a day-to-day basis. They've been wonderful partners to us, and we're excited to continue working with them in this capacity. And then all of you who are attending and joining today, we hope that this was beneficial. It gave you some food for thought and, kind of got the wheels turning in your mind about how you can think a little bit more innovatively to your approach to bringing in tech talent. I know that there were a few questions that were coming through the Q&A. I believe that they were being addressed, but I'm now happy to answer if there are any themes for questions that may have come through real quick. I believe that there were some questions regarding like how if a company agrees to this, and do they receive training on how to support and how to mentor them? Yes, we really try. Apprenti really tries to be a full service organization, really walking you through every single step of the way when it comes to apprenticeship. We provide training to supervisors and mentors, how to evaluate apprentices throughout the process. We want to, again, be a resource to you as you look at getting this lifted within your organization. And I don't know if yeah.
We had a question that I was not able to get to in the chat yet.
Okay.
Can you elaborate more on the process of identifying and training, and when the company looking to hire is involved in that piece? Are there expected pay scales for these roles on behalf of Apprenti?
Yeah, so great questions. Really the first thing that we try to do is, I meet with you to understand what the positions you are looking for are that you would like to use an apprenticeship model for. And so that's the first step in understanding what training would be required, what certifications they might need for that training. And then we look at either local training providers first. That's our first goal, is to support our local organizations. And then again, because Apprenti is a national organization, we do have access to a national network of training providers as well, because we want to make sure that works for you. In terms of pay, we have minimum requirements of what those apprentices should be paid. I will say none of our employers have paid the minimum. They've always paid a little bit more than the minimum, and that's just based off of cost of living standards within our market. So obviously what is required for the minimum pay expectation for Kansas City or looks significantly different than the Seattle market. So we take that into evaluation, but more often than not, our employers are more than eager to pay more than what that minimum is to find the right talent. And I think that answered that question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kara, for moderating that. I appreciate it. My contact information is on the screen. You will be receiving a follow-up email as well. And we did record this, and this will be accessible on our website. So if you have, members of your team who are not able to attend that would like more information, they will absolutely have access to watching this. But don't hesitate to reach out to discuss next steps. And I appreciate everyone taking some time out of their morning and joining us for this event. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.